She's a lot bit woo-woo, and she's doing the do. Welcome to the Woo and the Do podcast, where Irina and Christine Michelle teach you how to combine the spiritual and the physical, because you get to use all of you and the universe to manifest a life you enjoy. Come join us. Let's have some fun. Hi, I'm Christine Michelle.
And this is Irina Pichura.
And we are welcoming you to the Woo and the Do podcast. We are so excited to be here today. We're talking about one of my favorite topics, connecting with soul and connecting with your intuition. Following that intuition, how do you do it? What are some ways that can help? Maybe some physical ways that'll help you connect with your intuition, some tools, tricks, and tips. And Irina and I have lots of them for you. While you're listening, think about it, like, how do I connect to my intuition? And you should leave some comments and let us know how you do that. Remember to subscribe. Remember to just let us know that you're loving on us so that we can continue to bring these podcasts to you every week. So, intuition. What do you feel about intuition, connecting with your soul? Like, how do you connect with your soul, Irina?
So for me, I get nudges that usually in the past I would have ignored, but now I'm obviously following them. Whenever I get a nudge about anything, it could be at any time. It could be a random thing. It could be just, going about my day and I get a little nudge or a little divine download or whatever you want to call it, right? Mm-hmm. And just listening to that and knowing that it's coming from somewhere, it's not random, and following through with it. Yeah. I can give examples. I'll be happy to share, but in the past, I didn't do that. And I feel like if you do that, so much magic can happen from that.
It's so true. I I have this video. It's funny. It's I had this day, and it was funny. The night before, I was going to teach or do a live stream on intuition, and I was like, universe, show me, the ways to listen to the intuition, right? Because I've been doing this work, this spiritual work, this guidance work for like 30 years. I've been like journaling and doing all of this stuff. So sometimes it becomes second nature, and you're like, give me an example, like, of how easy it is really to follow your intuition so that I can teach and guide, right? So after I asked that, my sister and I both had BMWs at the time, and we both have keys. They look very similar. And her key was in my purse and my key was in my purse at the same time. And I looked at her key, and instead of what wasn't in my purse, her key was on the dresser. I picked it up, and the easy thing to do was to throw it in my purse. Mm. And I was like, oh, let me just throw it in my purse. But the thought was, do not throw it in your purse, just put it in the drawer. And I was like, yeah, whatever, right? So I put it in my purse. So fast forward, at this time, I was doing the 30-day Journal Manifest Win course. So I would wake up in the morning, or the night before, I would record the next module because I wanted it to be fresh. I wanted to feed off of everyone's energy. And I really wanted those journal prompts to come from, what was going on currently. Well, I forgot about that, even though my soul told me to do it like right then. I wake up at 6:30 in the middle of in the morning, and I was like, oh, I forgot to do the Journal Manifest Win, right? So I sent that email at 7:00 every morning. So I jump out of bed. I sleep naked. So I'm naked. I live with my sister. I'm sitting on this couch right now, and I'm like typing like furiously, and I'm doing the recording for there was an audio for each journal prompt so that you could understand what the journal prompt meant, and I gave you examples of what I would write, all those kinds of stuff. So I did the whole thing. My energy was like so frazzled because I normally wake up and I do my alignment practice and I'm so aligned, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not this morning. I get up, I do that, and then I do the email, everything. Post it, send it. It was 7:07. I'm so good, right? I checked the email and the whole thing did not record. I did it with that on mute, and it was like, so I was like, oh my God, right? So then I say, okay, universe, what could I do right now that would just feel so good to me, right? And it was like, go to Buddy Brew on Hyde Park and
Mm.
work from there. And I was like, oh, yeah, that'd be cool. But of course, because I'm getting this lesson, at first I was like, oh, yeah, of course. So then I look outside and shiny squirrel, there was a parking spot open. And it was the favorite parking spot that I love to bring my car down to out of the garage. So I grab a key and I run up this high ramp. It's sweating. I live in Florida. And I'm like, I get up 3 flights of stairs and I get to the car. Guess what? It wasn't my key. I grabbed my sister's key out of my purse. And I was like, okay, yeah, universe, you're showing me some things. So then it didn't end there. I run down the ramp and I think to myself, well, I don't want to go to Buddy Brew on Hyde Park. I'm going to go walk on Bayshore and work from there. So I go, I come back home, I put my tennis shoes on, and then I start the walk to Bayshore and something says, check your phone for the weather. The universe knew the weather was, that's why it said go somewhere else. But I checked the weather and it's about to storm 5 minutes from a storm. So then I run all the way back home and I'm like, I should have listened. They go to Buddy Brew. So then I say, well, I don't want to go to Buddy Brew on Hyde Park. I want to go to the one on Kennedy. That's the cool one. No. So I get to put the clothes on and I say, well, I'm listening, right, to part of what my soul told me to do. I get to Buddy Brew on Kennedy and there was one parking space. I slip into that parking space. So I'm like, yeah, I got the lucky, I'm lucky. I found a parking space. I walk in there and you would think that no one in Tampa, Florida has a job. Everyone must be entrepreneurs and they all must be working at Buddy Brew on Kennedy because the line was wrapped around the place and there was nowhere to sit. And I was like, oh God, what's wrong? And I said, oh, okay, this is part of my lesson. So then I decide, okay, I drive home because there was no way I could stay there. I drive home. I get to the house and I say, okay, I'm going to Buddy Brew. But I said, oh, it's probably going to be chilly in there. Let me take a sweater. I go to the closet and I say, which sweater should I take? I look at the green sweater and then I look at the white sweater. I knew I needed to do the green sweater. That was the first instinct. I said, no, I'm going to do the white. So I take the white sweater and I get to Hyde Park, Buddy Brew. The angels sung, the birds were like, ah, and I had a parking spot right in front. I walk in, there's a very little amount of people, and there was a seat right where I could live stream that was in the perfect spot. They had a plug, a place for my purse. It was the most amazing thing. And I was like, oh my God, I should have listened. It would have made my life so much easier. So I'm sitting there, I'm doing a live stream, writing my content, doing all the things, and then I'm getting really, really, really cold. And so I was like, all right, got my sweater. So I try to put on the white sweater, and guess what? It didn't fit. And so I said, I got it. But I tell that long story just to show you how easy it is really to listen to your soul and listen to your intuition. It is nudges. It's little things. It's the first thing you think. Within the first 3 seconds, what you thought. That's your intuition. And oftentimes we have been taught to second guess that intuition, not flow with that intuition, weigh the pros and the cons, and all of that serious adulting stuff that we have just said, oh, we got to do. We have connected to not trusting our soul and not trusting our instincts so much that the majority of our audience, I bet you, they just feel very scared to take those actions and listen to their intuition.
So good.
Have you ever felt that? Have you ever had any?
Oh my God, I have the perfect story. So it isn't quite as dramatic as your story, but it's in my business. You know how we grow our email list, right? And we offer something free to grow our email list. So, I was listening to a course on how to do that, and I took all the steps. I took all the action steps, hired a graphic designer. The cover needs to look this way. It needs to include your best content. It needs to be all of these things, right? So I did that and it worked out okay. People were opting in. They got value. I mean, it was a great thing that I provided for them. Absolutely. And it's still available and people still do use it and download it, and it's helpful for sure. But one day I was working and I wasn't even working on doing this. It was just, it was that inspiration, that intuition, that divine download that came. And I said, you know what? I keep working on these LinkedIn profiles. I help people optimize them. And a lot of people don't know what to put on that background cover. And I said, you know, why don't I have access to so much like beautiful stock images that I use for my blog and stuff like that. Why don't I create something beautiful that people can make their LinkedIn look beautiful as well? And it took me probably half an hour to do that, to crop these images, to put them on my website, make a password, and have that be my free offer, free gift for people. And let me tell you, that is 3 times more downloaded than that thing that I worked on so hard and put so much energy. And it took me 5 seconds to do on my own, whereas I could have done that, you know, from the beginning. So it's that little inspiration nudge or intuition, but really listening to and following through, because a lot of people, I feel like, get that nudge all the time and they resist and they resist, and they could do it for, you know, like you had that one day. People do it for years.
Yes, years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It is about following through, right? So that's why whenever I write about intuition or taking the aligned soul action, I'm always about listen and do, like listen and take the action. Because like I said, I believe it was in the previous podcast, the universe honors speed and decision.
Yes.
So when you get that instinct, it was funny. I was listening to Abraham Hicks years ago. I think it was maybe 2 years ago. And she wanted to see the whales. Like, I want to see a whale.
I remember that one.
On the cruise, right? She wanted to see the whale. And so she kept getting the instinct to just go out on the balcony. And she was like, well, I'll do it after I brush my teeth. And then she had an instinct to go on the balcony again. She's like, I'll do it after I do my hair. And then she kept getting the instinct to do it. And when she finally started looking at her phone, she was getting all these texts of pictures of all the whales, all the whales that she was missing, because she wasn't just doing that simple thing. That thought came in her mind. And then she's like, oh, well, there's something else that I'd rather do. So I think the first thing when you are like, how do I listen to my intuition? Start to connect and tune into what is your first thought. When you ask that question, what is your first thought? And that is what you should take action to do. And sometimes it'll be easy and you'll just be like, yes. And sometimes you'll be scared as fuck.
Yeah.
Do it, do it, do it. Especially when you're scared as fuck, because when you're scared, like all of this stuff, when we do it scared, that is helping you to up level even faster. You are quantum shifting into what you would like. And your brain is there to protect you, right? Your brain and your subconscious are want to keep you in the same place because they know you're safe there. So if you feel uncomfortable, it's because you're going somewhere that you haven't gone before. It doesn't mean that it's dangerous. It just means that it's not comfortable and it's not familiar. But once you do it, then your brain's like, oh, that was fine. And then you keep moving on.
And would you say it's that part of our brain, our ego, that is trying to keep us safe and small?
Yeah,
right.
Ego wants to keep you safe, and I like to say protected, right? So it was there and it was created, right? So you wouldn't get eaten by the woolly mammoth or whatever was out there when we were cave people. It kept you like safe. It brought fear to your body so that you would run away from it, so that you wouldn't run to it. You'll see like there's some people that have no fear and they end up doing some crazy stuff, and some things might get them really hurt. But your brain is, your subconscious is trying to protect you from that, from being hurt. But a lot of times when you're listening to your soul, it is getting you to exactly where you want to be. And a lot of times your intuition tells you only a tiny piece, right? So like, for example, if your intuition told you to go to Starbucks because you were going to run into Oprah Winfrey's person and you were now going to be on Soul Saturdays and you were now going to be the next Gabby Bernstein or something, you'd freak out. You wouldn't go. You'd be like, oh my God, I got to do my makeup. And oh my God, Gabby can't see me in the shirt. She's got to do this and got to do that, right? But if your soul just says go to Starbucks and then you go, and then stand in front of this and turn around and say hello to this man, and then you do it, you're likely going to take those steps because you don't know the big, scary, amazing outcome of it.
Right.
Screw it up. So that's why your soul doesn't tell you everything at once, because it's taking you step by step so that you can just be comfortable, be yourself, and then just go along your journey.
That's right. Yeah. I remember like always like being doubtful of my intuition and always second guessing and always inviting other people's opinions as well. And I think there's a time and place too to ask opinions, you know, but to weigh the pros and cons. But I really feel like you know deep inside the real answer. And I feel like a lot of people doubt that and they don't, you know, do what it is that they want to do. And they look for external validation in terms of what they are really looking to do. Like, is this right? Should I do this? Should I do that? Instead of really listening and tapping into what it is that you already have inside of you, which is much more easy to access, right?
So true. And it's connected. I mean, it's available to you. Like all those answers are all available to you and connected to infinite intelligence, source, God, universe, right? And I totally love chatting with my girlfriends, asking, oh, what do you think I should do? But I always know I'm never listening to them. I'm always listening to my soul. And if they, a lot of times, because my girlfriends and I, because we are all so connected, usually they will tell me exactly what I'm thinking because I'm so connected to my soul and I know. But the good thing is when you talk to your girlfriends and your friends and they give you advice and you're like, that's fucking stupid, then you know that that's not your soul. His soul isn't telling you to do that.
Yeah. And I've gotten in trouble before by listening to other people. I know we spoke about this before, and it's like, you know, if you make the quote unquote mistake or whatever it is, that's your lesson to learn, right? But if you follow someone else's advice, and I've done that in the past, I would kick myself in the ass for doing something else that I didn't want to do. And I feel like people, you know, they're just living life just like you are, right? They're winging it just like we all are adulting. It's all winging it. Like, we don't know what the hell we're doing. So why is it that someone else has this opinion of what you should do? Like, why are you looking for external validation when you want to actually do something? And that could be with a relationship, that could be with your career, it could be with so many different things, where you should live, how, what you wear. Yeah. Do I look good in this? Well, you know, I think you know what you look good in, and you don't need another opinion.
My answer to all of my friends, because I was never that one like, oh, what are we all going to wear? I'm like, I'm wearing jeans. You wear whatever you want, or I'm wearing the dress. This is what I'm doing. But some, you know, it's because of that connection. Everybody wants to like kind of connect and all do the same.
Be the same.
I was always the person that I'm going to do this. And if you want to join, come on. If you don't, that's okay. Like, wear what you want to wear. It's also because we've been taught, right? Ever since we were young, the teacher knows best. This person knows best. Someone outside of us always know better for us than we. And so we started not to trust ourselves. So there are so many ways where you can connect with that intuition, right? There's so many ways where you can sit and start to really connect to it and listen. So I know I'll talk about one of my favorite ways, and that's journaling. I use journaling, manifest journaling. We can do a podcast on that later, but I definitely use journaling as a way to connect with my soul. So I do a lot of stream of consciousness journaling, a lot of asking a question and then just writing what the answer is. I do a lot of just letting out what I'm thinking, right? Just letting out what I'm thinking on paper. And then if it needs to be shifted, shifting it to what I would rather believe, but also just listening to what I'm thinking or the first things. So like, one way to help exercise your intuition muscle, because it is a muscle, and the more you take action on it, the more you listen to it, the more you trust it and trust and believe that it's correct and that you're taking whatever action you're taking is right, is start to ask yourself questions and then just write whatever the first answer you think. And if you are blank, you could say, I'm blank. I have no idea. I don't know what I'm thinking, and just keep writing. And then you're going to eventually start writing and thinking of an answer. It's just priming. Because that helps you. And then another way is just to follow your instincts. So like for right now, I'm very thirsty. So my instinct is to drink some water. And I make sure that I do that because it's my soul, it's my body, it's my mind, everything together working with me to say, hey, drink some damn water. And just do it as I feel it. And the more you write and just say, I trust that whatever I choose is along my path. The more you say, you know what, whatever I do, even if it doesn't turn out the way that I think it's going to turn out, it is along my path, that every step is taking me exactly in the direction that I would like to go. You'll start to trust yourself and trust your actions. So what do you do, Irina, to sharpen your intuition, to really trust it and know it?
Yeah, so I love journaling. I just, haven't made it a priority, but I love that, you do it and how you do it. And I actually am looking forward to the podcast where we're going to talk about and learn more about your journaling practices. For me, I always get inspiration and get those nudges when I'm relaxed. So for me, meditation, although I don't do it enough. But it's funny, it's not even like, something you would probably expect, but I get so much inspiration when I'm like taking a shower.
That's water. Water connects you. Yes.
Yeah,
Coming out. Water is awesome.
the best ideas in the shower. And it's like, I almost wish I had like a paper and pen like in the shower, because I sometimes forget. And also right before I fall asleep, when I'm just in that relaxed state, I sometimes when I can't sleep too, I get so many ideas. I'm just like, I need to have pen and paper right by my desk. And I have so many notes in my phone because that is by my desk. I just go into notes real quick so I don't forget. I get blog ideas. I get so much, intuition and ideas and creativity when I'm relaxed.
Yes, that is a big thing. I have an alignment practice. I wrote that down for one of our topics to talk about our alignment practices, and meditation is always a piece of it. And I like to start my alignment practice off with at least like a 10-minute meditation. And then that goes into my journaling, because quieting my mind or focusing intently on something, maybe speaking an affirmation, maybe my meditation, just focusing on one thing, really slowing down the mind, help me connect to my journaling and connect to what is speaking from within. So it's getting quiet, especially before you go to sleep. That's when you're quiet, and now you're actually listening to what your mind is saying versus saying, shut up, I've got all these other things going to think about, be quiet, so that's perfect. I know after yoga, Savasana, like I get all the ideas and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get my phone. Because you're relaxed and you're like allowing yourself to truly connect and listen to your soul at that time.
Yeah, when you're busy and doing stuff, it's difficult to hear anything, right? Because you're doing and you're in the do state of it. But yeah, just relaxing. Yoga has been helpful. Just whenever I'm relaxed. Sometimes when I just like take a moment to breathe within my day, and step back and just, relax. That's when I hear things and follow through with those.
That is so good. Oh my God. I love it. So, well, that is a lot on intuition. There's so much more that we could say. And I know that as podcasts go on, I know we'll talk more and more about intuition, but definitely hit us up. Let us know what you thought about intuition, where your challenges are when you want to listen to your intuition, and what kind of practical action steps that you take. Like Irina gets quiet, she listens to her soul. I do meditation, and then I also do journaling, and that helps me connect to my intuition. Like, what ways are you doing it? Give us some ways. I'd love to see or hear different ways that you guys connect to your own intuitions. Let us know also if you have challenges, like if you feel like, no, I'm always listening to something someone else is saying, and then we can always definitely like give you some advice, let you know like what's some ways that you can start to trust yourself and trust your soul. And remember, you can find us at the Woo and the Do podcast. There is a page on Facebook, but there's also a group, and it's called The Lounge. And that is where you can get all of the information, like for the show notes, any links, any books, or anything that we suggest that definitely helps to connect you to your intuition, or any of the other fun topics that we've talked about. But we're also there. So if you could just get inspired and you're thinking about intuition and you're like, wow, this would be a great question, go in there, join the group, share it, talk about it, because this is like awesome. We are building this community where we can all be all about the woo-woo spiritual, but also about the do. So Irina, is there anything else you wanted to talk about intuition before we go?
Yeah, my intuition tells me that if you guys are enjoying this podcast, if you could just screenshot it and share it on your stories and let us know that you are enjoying these topics and how they're helping you, and share them with your friends, and so that they can join us here too and get inspired just like you are.
Awesome. Irina and I are both like huge Facebook people. So and Instagram. We love, 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 love Instagram and Instagram stories. So definitely share it on your Facebook story, share it on your Instagram story. And then remember to come see us if you want to see the podcast as well on YouTube. So you can see how we look, you can chit chat, see us on the video, and leave some comments below the video as well on YouTube. We'll leave all of those links in the notes. And we'll also leave those links in the YouTube too, so that you guys can find us wherever. So this was so fun. Thank you, Irina.
Thank you, Christine.
Yay, I'm so glad we have this time together, and I'm looking forward to our next one. Hugs, kisses, all the feels, and remember to take your aligned soul action. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for tuning in to the Woo and the Do podcast. If you loved it as much as we loved recording it for you, please leave a review and join me and Irina on Facebook and Instagram at The Woo and The Do. Also, please come hang out with us in the lounge on Facebook. It is our insiders group. You'll have access to me and you'll have access to Irina, and we will give you show notes and freebies and all kinds of amazingness, and you can connect with more listeners of this podcast and have a listening party. In the meantime, remember to embrace all of your woo-woo goodness and continue to take that divine inspired action and do the do. Bye.